This episode of the Demonic Compendium contains spoilers for the following games. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to a fortunate new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE has finally been given another chance, with Encore launching on the Switch. But when it spins that Wheel of Fortune, will it win that trip to Hawaii, or fall victim to the dreaded bankrupt? Let's find out, because today, we're talking about Fortuna. Fortuna was born as one of the children of Jupiter and Venus. She is the Roman goddess of luck and fortune, and is the counterpart to the Greek goddess Tyche, making her one of the few mythological figures where we generally focus more on the Roman version rather than the original Greek one. The reason for this is because while the Greeks saw Tyche as just a goddess of things happening, Roman culture put a far greater emphasis on the role she played and how she handled things. Fortuna was perhaps best known as the owner of the Rota Fortunae, or Wheel of Fortune as it's more commonly known, and it was primarily Romans who put emphasis into this lore on the wheel and its owner, like Boethius, a Roman philosopher who popularized the concept in the 6th century. As the spinner of the Wheel of Fortune, Fortuna is often accompanied by 4 personifications of the possible outcomes from her wheel. There's Regnabo, I shall reign, Regno, I reign, Regnavi, I have reigned, or some seen Regno, I have no kingdom. These are often seen as different stages of life, though the outcome of Fortuna's spins comes down to luck. She's often depicted as blindfolded to show no bias in her results, and is sometimes shown as a being of duality, black and white, the flip of a coin. Due to her power to change the luck and fortune of those around her, Fortuna was often favored and praised by slaves and lower-class citizens in hopes that their luck would turn around and they would be granted wealth and prosperity. Every year, a festival was held in her honor with feasts, drinking, offerings to the goddess, and of course, gambling, praying that her Wheel of Fortune would stop in their favor. Perhaps one of the most famous literary works regarding Fortuna was in the 13th century poem, O Fortuna, which was collected in the Carmina Burana alongside 253 other poems and short works. If you read the translation of the lyrics, the piece is rather critical against the goddess and her concepts of good luck and random fortune. Of course, most people who have any familiarity with O Fortuna know it best for its 1930s operatic interpretation by German composer Karl Orff. You know, this one. Fortuna's Compendium entry from Persona 4 refers to her as the Roman goddess of luck. Her Greek counterpart is Tyche. Originally a goddess of fertility, she later became known as the spinner of the Wheel of Fortune. Design-wise, Kaneko depicted Fortuna as a beautiful goddess with her Wheel of Fortune being a physical part of her body. Many art pieces showcased her wheel in different ways, and even different types of wheels, but Kaneko seems closest to certain early works where she was shown standing behind the wheel. The wheel itself, in her Megami Tensei design, seems to most resemble a ship's steering wheel, which fits in with some of Fortuna's mythology, as one of her primary symbols is a ship's rudder, showcasing her ability to steer the fate of people in new directions. While not blindfolded like she is in some variations, a really nice touch I like is the use of black and white in her clothing, representing a sort of heads or tails yin-yang duality. And of course, the way the cloth moves has it going around in a circle. Like a wheel. It's a nice extra touch that I appreciate in the overall design. As far as game history goes, while Fortuna was first introduced in Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, her appearances have primarily been in the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona titles. In the Persona series, Fortuna typically appears as a member of the, what else, Fortune Arcana, and in fact is symbolically represented by the very Arcana itself, as most tarot decks do refer to the Fortune Arcana as the Wheel of Fortune Arcana in a direct connection to the goddess herself. And the wheel is a common motif on the fortune cards throughout the series, even appearing on Chihiya's dress in Persona 5. So yeah, every fortune character has some connection to Fortuna, from Jun to Naoto to Labris. I like Labris. One could also argue that Fortuna is the driving inspiration behind the Arcana Fortune boss from the Persona 3 games, as it utilizes the Wheel of Fortune in its attacks. Remember how earlier I mentioned Fortuna is one of the few figures we generally associate more with her Roman version than the Greek version? Well, apparently even someone at Atlas USA was used to discussing Roman counterparts, because Fortuna's Compendium in Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey refers to her as the Roman goddess of luck, but then says her Roman counterpart is Taiki. This typo was fixed to refer to Taiki as the Greek counterpart in Strange Journey Redux. Fortuna has small roles in both Shin Megami Tensei 4 games, appearing in challenge quests both times. In Shin Megami Tensei 4, Fortuna is a central figure in the challenge quest The Cauldron, where she tasks Flynn with returning Dagda's Cauldron. But in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, she takes on a more aggressive role, appearing as a boss fight in the challenge quest Secure Transport Route, where Nanashi will have to fight her in order to clear a path to bring supplies through. And finally, in one of her most iconic roles, she doesn't appear directly at all, but is symbolically represented in Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE, and of course, the enhanced version, Encore, as the namesake of Fortuna Entertainment, the main office and home base of the Mirage Masters throughout the story. The Wheel of Fortune is prominently displayed in the logo of Fortuna Entertainment, and as a direct nod to the goddess, can also be seen on the necklace of the president of Fortuna Entertainment, Maiko Shimazaki. See? You can totally see it. It's right there. Fortuna has primarily appeared in more of a figurative sense than a literal one throughout the franchise, but who knows when her luck will finally start to turn. Her wheel must have stopped in some sort of a good place because we can now play Tokyo Mirage Sessions on the Switch, so I'm gonna go do that. And so there you have it, Fortuna, the femme fatale of fate who gives that wacky wheel a wonderful whirl. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I'll see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.